By the spring of 1862, a year into the American Civil War, Major General Ulysses S. Grant had pushed deep into Confederate territory along the Tennessee River. In early April, he was camped at Pittsburgh Landing near Shiloh, Tennessee, waiting for Major General Don Carlos Buell's army to meet up with him. The Battle of Shiloh was particularly gruesome as General Grant collided with Confederate General Albert Sidney Johnston. General Grant and his Union soldiers outnumbered Confederate troops by more than 10,000 men, so the rebels were soon retreating to Corinth, Mississippi. It was a very bloody battle that saw 3,000 men die in combat. Another 16,000 from both sides were left critically injured and stranded on the field. Not surprisingly, soldiers weren't just dying from gunshot wounds, but were dying slow, painful deaths from infections like gangrene. Antibiotics were not yet a part of medicine, so most doctors simply amputated a man's limbs to stop infection from spreading. But at the Battle of Shiloh, where many men lay in the mud and moist earth for days before getting treatment, something very odd was occurring. Those suffering from open wounds began noticing that their wounds looked unusually bright, almost glowing. This feature was so striking that men named it Angel's Glow. They also noticed that those wounds blessed with Angel's Glow seemed to heal much more quickly than the others. The men had no explanation for the strange glow, but doctors soon discovered that soldiers who had reported seeing their wounds glow again had a higher chance of survival than soldiers who did not. Not only that, they also seemed to have a lower infection rate. So imagine this, open bleeding wounds actually appeared to glow a light, subdued greenish blue, almost as though they were human chem lights, only decades before they were even invented. Fast forward to 140 some years later, a young man named Bill Martin read about this phenomenon when he and his family visited the Shiloh battlefield. His mother was a microbiologist, so he asked her what could account for the angel's glow. She reacted as any good mother would, and scientist, she told him to conduct an experiment to find out. Martin and a friend began to study the environment and weather patterns around Shiloh. They soon discovered that the bacteria, called P. luminescens, which had been found in the soldiers' wounds, come from the intestines of nematodes, or ringworms. Initially, the bacteria dig deep into the insect's larvae and stay in the blood vessels. However, the nematodes eventually regurgitate the bacteria inside them, and the bacteria give off a soft glow. The biological purpose of the light is not yet understood by modern science. From his experiments, Martin realized that the soil and weather conditions at Shiloh were ripe for the bacteria to thrive. Usually the bacteria can't survive a human's normal body temperature, which is too warm. But in the case of the Civil War soldiers, the men were often left lying in chilly, damp conditions, so their body temperatures dropped just enough to keep this helpful bacteria from dying. It's not all good news, however. Consequence of the nematodes infiltrating the men's wounds was that it often caused persistent ulcers and other gastrointestinal side effects. Still, those with the angel glow lived to tell the tale of their bright, shining wounds, even if they didn't understand the true link between that bioluminescence and their survival.